I just obviously want to start by saluting the family, and in particular Lucia. I think anybody who knows her is completely gobsmacked by her intelligence, her decency, her honesty and her absolute determination and deep love for her son. So if you haven't met her, Minister, she will not go away. Believe me, she will not go away until this is brought to a conclusion. Look, this is a tragic case of failure of the state and its agencies to protect one of its citizens. And if it fails to protect one of its citizens, then it fails to protect all. Shane O Farrell wasn't just failed by the state because his killer was free to drive despite 18 breaches of bail, but that protection, or failure to protect, has been worsened and insult added to injury by the actions of state agencies right up to yesterday, when the Taoiseach, with the Taoiseach's intervention on the matter here during the questions on promised legislation. The Taoiseach stated yesterday that the GSOC inquiry found that many of the 58 allegations by the family were found to be incorrect. The report, frankly, didn't say that, Minister. It didn't say that at all. And this was a real insult to the family, despite what they've been through. The main concerns in Shane's case also reflect wider failures of the system and may affect other cases of injustice. But firstly, I think it's worth noting that the Gardaí and the main failures of the catastrophic failures of Gardaí in this division are in the area that we now know from the Maurice McCabe case, and have left a history, to say the least, of underperforming and lack of transparency in dealing with failures. Senior Gardaí in that area have acted incompetently, and the fact that they have done is not up for debate. Secondly, it's a scandal in itself that the GSOC investigation took 5 years, and another scandal that it hasn't been published for a further year. Now, you say in your intervention, Minister, your understanding is that GSOC didn't immediately publish the report so as not to cause further undue distress to the O'Farrell family to see a report that was published a year ago. Will you please explain, when you come back to us, what you mean by undue distress by holding on to the report for a further year? I don't understand how that makes sense, and I know the family don't understand how that makes sense. To make matters worse, however, within those 5 years, the family were consistently fobbed off with a routine answer, "Oh, you can't talk about that, it's with GSOC." When we first came into the Dáil in 2016 and met Lucia, and both Gino and I asked questions, "Can't talk about that, it's with GSOC." And the previous Minister for Justice repeatedly said the independent at this case, the independent review mechanism did not look at this case. And I'm struck by the number of times that the stock answer to questions on Shane's murder was given, the independent review, that no further action be taken. That didn't happen. The body of 2 senior barristers that were instructed to look at 109 odd cases were told not to look at Shane's case because it was with GSOC. And that is, to say the least, highly irregular. That didn't come before the public arena up to now. And one of those very senior barristers was actually one of the people who represented Shane's murderer in court. And I know from talking to Lucia that she actually offered to pay for better representation for her son. The DPP said, "No, we have a certain budget, you get junior counsel." The courts awarded her killer both junior and senior counsel. She offered to pay for better representation. So even at that level, that the representation afforded to the killer and the person who was killed was entirely imbalanced. I think there's something really wrong that has to be examined here. Shane was represented by a junior counsel and his killer represented by more than one, a junior and a senior. And I'd like you to address that, please. The GSOC report is scant, it's poor, and that is an understatement, especially after 5 years of work. So we do need a full public inquiry into Shane's death, into the failures of the Gardaí to protect him, into the failures of the courts to get justice for his killer, and the failures of the prosecution service, the failures of the review mechanism, which didn't review the case, and now the failures of GSOC with this completely inadequate report. So we are repeating the call to you, Minister, to establish a commission of investigation, to look for accountability, to look for real answers to the complaints that were made, to allow the family to finally grieve. And I'll just finish by saying that this state has an ugly history of hiding the truth, whether it's the truth from mothers and babies or adoptees through agencies. Please don't let history repeat itself again, and please don't drag this family through more and more time of really banging and knocking at the doors of this state to get truth and to get justice for their son. And as I said at the beginning, if you think that Lucia O'Farrell is going to go away or this issue is going to go away, then you haven't met her, because it won't. And I think, having witnessed the cross-party support in this House to demand a view for a public inquiry, is really encouraging to see everybody putting their shoulders to the wheel, and we will maintain that until there's justice for the family.
The independence for